Bestie, we have a lot of catching up to do and a big old book haul to get through, so let's not waste any more time.
This summer, I was catching flights, and my absolute favorite thing to do while I'm visiting somewhere is check out the local bookstores. So grab a snack, fill up your water bottle, and get comfy because I'm bringing you along to all 9 bookstores across 5 different states I visited this summer. And of course, sharing the books I brought home too. So let's get off to an exciting start on the West Coast in Palm Springs, California.
Is it dramatic if I leave the sunglasses on? What do we think? I think it's kind of a vibe. It's kind of a desert vibe, so I'm gonna keep them on for now. This is my bag from the best bookstore in Palm Springs and the only bookstore in Palm Springs for now. The thing is, I had to make sure that I had enough space in my suitcase to get these books home, so I couldn't go too crazy, but I did get a handful of books and I'm so excited to share them with you and maybe give you a little bit of inspiration on what to read next. Anytime I visit a bookstore somewhere that I don't live, I always keep an eye out for a local authors section because it's so fun to get a book in a place where the author lives and like maybe that book also takes place in the same place that you're at. Is this making sense? Let me take the sunglasses off. I think they're clouding my brain. This is the Guncle series. It is 2 books and it is by Stephen Rowley, who is a local to Palm Springs. So as soon as I learned that, I was like, immediately yes, because I've actually seen this book in a handful of bookstores and I always like pick it up, think about it, and then I never end up getting it. When I learned that he lived here in Palm Springs, I was like, perfect time to grab both of the books in the series and add them to my shelves. I'm so excited about it because it also takes place in Palm Springs. Let me read you the backity back so you know what this is actually about. Patrick O'Hara is a bit out of his league. Patrick, or Gay Uncle Patrick, Gup for short, has always loved his niece Macy and nephew Grant. That is, he loves spending time with them when they come out to Palm Springs for week-long visits or when he heads home to Connecticut for the holidays. So when tragedy strikes and Patrick finds himself suddenly taking on the role of primary guardian, he is honestly overwhelmed. I would be too, Patrick. Patrick has no idea what to expect, having spent years barely holding on after the loss of his great love, a somewhat stalled acting career, and a lifestyle not so suited to a 6 and 9-year-old. Also, they're like babies almost. Not babies. 6 and 9 is not babies, but they are. But when his waggish set of gunkle rules no longer appease Maisie and Grant's parental void, Patrick's eyes are open to a new sense of responsibility and the realization that sometimes even being larger than life means you're unfailingly human. Oh, that's a very sweet sentiment. This book is actually very different from things that I normally choose to read. I feel like this is going to be very heartfelt, very warm inside. And I tend to read fantasy books and romances. Not to say that there couldn't be a romance subplot in here, but this is obviously going to be mostly about a family and the family re-finding themselves or like re-establishing what it is to be a family. And I'm really excited for it because one of the things that I am really pushing myself to do this year is beat my book biases and read things that I wouldn't typically, or like challenge the things that I would regularly gravitate towards. There is a second book, but I don't want to read the back of this one in case there are spoilers for this one. But look how beautiful these covers are too. It's perfect for summer, definitely giving Palm Springs. I learned a few really cool things about this series from the bookstore owner himself, by the way. He told us that this little store in Palm Springs, the Best Bookstore, has sold the most amount of the Gunkle series books. Like, Stephen Rowley has told him that his store has sold like over 2,000 copies, which is more than like Barnes and Noble and things like that. So I just am happy to add to that number and keep it going and keep it growing and support Stephen and support Palm Springs and the Best Bookstore. But also, this book was supposed to be turning into, I think, a movie, possibly a TV show. And they originally had Dan Levy for Patrick, which is iconic. But after that fell through, they also were considering Jonathan Bailey before the wicked of it all. Crazy. So I have a feeling whenever I read this, I'm going to end up imagining Jonathan Bailey as Patrick. But it's approved because it was going to happen. It could have happened. If you have subscribed to this channel and you've been watching the reading vlogs, the vlogs in general, you may know that I have not read anything by the beloved author R.F. Kuang. And I know it's like almost blasphemous for me to say that as a fantasy reader because she is like one of the fantasy authors. I saw this special edition of The Poppy War and I snatched her up. I had to. It was the only one left, and I want to read this book anyways. I don't already have a physical copy or a digital copy, so I thought, why not let my money support a local bookstore, and I will get a special edition copy of a book that I am excited to read this summer. This is The Poppy War. Look how beautiful the cover is. And this is just the jacket, by the way. Like, that is stunning. It has sprayed edges. Like, oh my gosh, look how pretty that art is. And then honestly, I didn't even look at the cover. Ooh, I like that. The orange looks incredible on the black and it matches my outfit. And then this is the back cover. We've got the flappity flap about R.F. Kuang. That is so beautiful. So The Poppy War is R.F. Kuang's debut novel, and this edition, I just learned. When I tell you I saw this and snatched it up, no thoughts, I'm being serious. So I'm finally flipping through it, and it's illustrated. I love that. Okay, the fire on the cover is also kind of metallic. Oh my gosh, the details in this book, it's just so beautiful. It belongs on my shelf. There's only one more book in this haul because, again, I have to fit all of these into just a carry-on suitcase. But I decided to pick up This Will Be Fun by E.B. Asher, a novel. Everyone in Matheria knows the story of how best friends Beatrice and Eowyn, handsome ex-bandit Claire, and valiant leader Galwell the Great defended the realm from darkness. It's a tale beloved by all, except the heroes. They haven't spoken in a decade, devastated by what their quest cost them. But when they all receive an invitation to the Queen of Matheria's wedding, it's a summons they can't refuse. Dark forces from their past have also returned. Dusting off old weapons and old instincts, Beatrice, Claire, and Eowyn will face undead nemesis, crystal caves, enchanted swords, coffee shops, games of magical truth or dare, and hardest of all, their past, rife with wounds never healed and romances never forgotten. This time around, will their story end in happily ever after? I like this. I like a story that kind of bounces timelines. Like, you're dropped in the middle of something, you don't really know what's going on, and part of the mystery of the story is to figure out what happened and how it's going to affect the current plot. I never get tired of that. I think it's so fun and interesting, and the fact that it's in this, like, fantastical realm with swords, and I can only imagine maybe a magical creature or two, considering we have magical games of truth or dare. I've had the opportunity to travel a lot this summer, specifically to the West Coast, specifically to LAX, which led me to the discovery of a bookstore inside of the airport, and not the Hudson News, although I do go in there every time I see one. I can't help myself. This is called Book Soup. Book Soup is an independently owned bookstore in LA, and I've been to the store on Hollywood, but I didn't know that they had another location inside of LAX, specifically in the international terminal. If you're traveling there anytime soon and you want to hop in and support a local bookstore. I couldn't help myself when I saw it, and I had some extra time to kill between flights. While I was in there, the only thing that was kind of telling me I was inside of an airport was other people pushing around their luggages. Because it just felt like a real miniature bookstore. And I was pretty impressed by the selection. I feel like at the more generic airport bookstores or like book sections, it's just the most popular books at the time. Titles that you can kind of find anywhere, at least in my experience. So it's nice to see that this had a wide selection, yes, of popular books, which I did get one, but also enough books in each section that you could get some of those less popular books in there. But I did end up going slightly with a fandom. I'm of course talking about the Ali Hazelwood fandom. Ali Hazelwood is one of the most popular romance authors, and I really enjoy her books, so I decided to get her new release for the summer, Problematic Summer Romance, and I did finish it. This is very different than what I usually read, but also kind of the same because it is a romantic comedy kind of vibe, very lighthearted, very easy to follow plot. I feel like anytime Ali Hazelwood releases a book, it's talked about everywhere. So I'm not going to talk about her here, but she is popular. I did like it. I think I would give it like a
4-star just off the top of my head right now because it actually surprised me. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. Over the summer, I had the chance to visit one of my friends who lives in Arizona, and she drove me to the Grand Canyon. It was my first time being in the state, seeing the Grand Canyon. It was honestly so surreal because it looks fake, because obviously I've never seen anything like that, and my brain was just having a hard time processing the Grand Canyon. But it is beautiful and I would love to go back. But while we were in Arizona, I of course had to make time to stop into a bookstore, and we did. We went to Changing Hands in Phoenix, Arizona.
Show off your books.
I ended up bringing home 2 books from Changing Hands in Arizona. The first one, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about. This is The Dead Cattail Assassins. First off, Black girl on a fantasy book cover, my favorite genre. And for a fantasy book, it's really short. It's only 213 pages, and you do not find that in fantasy a lot when it's not like a novella of some kind of series. But I like that it's so short, one, because I can binge it in a day, which is my plan for this book, but also because sometimes it's hard to convince yourself to dive into another fantasy read, even though it is my favorite genre, because they are these whole worlds just built up, and they take a lot, which means there's a lot of pages in the book, and sometimes you don't want to commit to reading 500 pages. I get that. And that's where a book like this can come in handy. Evin the Eviscerator is skilled, discreet, professional, and here for your most pressing needs in the ancient city of Tal Abasi. Her guild is strong, her blades are sharp, and her rules are simple. Those sworn to the matron of assassins, resurrected, deadly, wiped of their memories, have only 3 unbreakable vows. First, the contract must be just. That's above Evin's pay grade. Second, the most powerful assassin may only kill the contracted. Evin's a professional. She's never missed her mark. The third and the simplest, once you accept a job, you must carry it out. And if you stray, a final death would be a mercy. When the Festival of the Clockwork King turns the city upside down, Evin's newest mission brings her face to face with a past she isn't supposed to remember and a vow she can't forget. So there's a bit of a mystery in this book, and going into the cozy fall season, I know, I can't believe we're here either. I just think this is perfect for that time of year. I'm starting to build out my fall TBR, and this is definitely on it. The second book I got, Her Soul for a Crown. Look at the sprayed edges. I know the sprayed edges are getting some heat in the bookish community. Some of us are sick of seeing them. I'm not one of those people. I think it's so fun. Every time I see a sprayed edge, even if it's just a color, I get excited. Love was never part of their bargain. Her Soul for a Crown, Alicia Ramira. This is a romantasy novel. I have been in my romantasy bag lately. Like, it's just scratching a part of my brain right now that I am loving. So I'm excited to have another one. This is about a girl, Anula. Her name is much longer than that, but I'm gonna need to listen to the audiobook before I attempt it because I will feel so bad if I butcher it. Anula calculated her ascent the moment she was orphaned, when her village was burned in an endless war and the gods forsook her prayers. So she is trying to marry royalty, marry the Raja. Then she's gonna poison him and allow herself to be the sole leader, and she can bring back that power to her people. But in order to do that, she has to first overcome this coup of people who are trying to kick her out of power. So her only solution is to make a deal with the gods and hope that they're willing to help her out. One is Riri the Blood Yaka, the most dangerous and powerful of his clan, hears her prayer. And lucky for her, he's also down on his luck, trying to restore his glory and his followers' glory on earth. So he sees this as an opportunity, and then the two are tied together until their missions are complete or until they die. Ooh, it says that while Anula is skilled at many things, especially in stopping hearts, the closer she grows to Riri, the more she finds her own heart at risk. I love love. This sounds like it's gonna be really good. And like, there being a war and a coup and like kind of warring gods. I love a romantasy that's a little bit darker, that has like a darker tone in plot or setting. It makes the romance that much more like intriguing. And there's so much more tension because it's like, we're fighting a war, but we're also fighting for love. So over the summer, I also had a family vacation in Denver, Colorado, which, fun fact, was actually the first place of my very first episode of the Bookstore Shopping Tour. So if you are new to my channel and you don't know, I have a series called the Bookstore Shopping Tour where I bring you around to all my favorite bookstores anywhere that I may be. And the very first episode I ever filmed was on our last family vacation in Colorado. So it was really fun to be back. And what was even more fun is there were more independent bookstores there that I didn't get a chance to go to the last time. So we knocked some of them out, and I think some of them were even new. The first one being Books Are Awesome. I never really, sometimes I decide what I want before I'm going into a bookstore, but most of the time, I just walk in and see what speaks to me, so I honestly have no idea what to expect from Books Are Awesome, but their little logo is a little lamb, a sheep, and maybe we'll find an animal book. That could be a fun challenge. What do you think?
Let's go.
Okay. It's so cute. Like, they have a Prius. And the license plate is Baha Book. Hi. Thank you. book that I got from Books Are Awesome, and I have all my goodies in here too. Oh wait, I also got this sticker. Anytime I purchase from an independent bookstore and they give me more than just the bookmark, I keep it in the book as well. So I have like Books Are Awesome, a business card, and this little flyer for the month that I visited. I think it just has some book recs on it and maybe some local events. But the book I got is When Women Were Dragons by Kelly Barnhill. This has been on my TBR for a really long time simply because it was about women and dragons. And I have been reading so many dragon books this year. Like, I'm not kidding. I think that's my most read genre, and I'm not mad at it, and I'm not mad about adding another one to that list. Let me read you the backity back. Alex Green lives in a world much like ours, except for its most seminal event, the mass dragoning of 1955, when hundreds of thousands of women sprouted wings, scales, and talons and took to the skies. That concept alone sold me on this book. I'm like, I need to know what that was like. Was it their choice? What became of those left behind? Why did Alex's beloved Aunt Marla transform, but her mother did not? Alex doesn't know. It's taboo to speak of. In this timely and timeless speculative novel, award-winning author Kelly Barnhill boldly explores rage, memory, and the tyranny of forced limitation. When Women Were Dragons exposes a world that wants to keep women small, their lives, and their prospects, and examines what happens when they begin to take up the space they deserve. I also love that this paperback is one of those really flimsy ones. You shouldn't be too rough with your books, but it's just so satisfying. I've actually started a new challenge for myself. In addition to going to bookstores wherever I may be, wherever I may find one, I want to also try to go to as many romance bookstores as possible because that is such a fun niche of bookstores that is popping up all over the US, and I have been to a few. I actually made a video about a couple of the ones here in Florida. I've been to the Ripped Bodice in New York, and I'm happy to report that Colorado does have a romance-only bookstore called The Spicy Librarian.
I can't let you go, baby. I just want to tell you that. No. Yeah. All of my friends say, girl, you better take care. Cause that man is trouble, you best beware. And though deep down, I know I might be headed for teardrops. Now that you got me started, I just can't stop. No. Cause I love you, baby. I can't let you go, baby. I gotta tell you that I've been looking for a love so true. When I was down and out, along came you. Though you might be a liar and a cheat too, I just can't quit you now cause I love you. Yes, I do. I can't let you go, baby. I can't let you go, baby. Cause I love you, I love you, I love you. No. Cause I love you, baby. No. Can't let you go. Cause I love you, yeah. There was a time I didn't have romance, but after I met you, I felt it was my chance. But nobody tells me good things about you, baby. I'm gonna stay right here, and I don't mean maybe. Yeah. I can't let you go. I can't let you go. Yeah. I can't let you go. Yeah.
And this is my Spicy Librarian book haul. Oh my god. Ooh, let's start off with Lady Night by Amali Howard. This is an autographed copy because this author was local to Colorado. I love when an indie bookstore has a local author section, and anytime that I'm visiting, I always look for it because I'm trying to support, of course, the bookstore, but the authors themselves. So I get so happy when they're signed as well. And one thing I'm learning about myself, I really enjoy a historical fiction romance, especially when the characters are diverse. This falls right into that category. Our FMC, Zia, is a duke's daughter, but she wants nothing to do with the balls and the gowns and the dancing and impressing the ton. Instead, she only comes alive in the Lady Knights, a clandestine social club for rebellious girls. Because you hear about like gentlemen's clubs being a thing. So there being a club for rebellious girls who like don't want to do what they're told and like what's expected of them just because they're women. Sign me up. In the Lady Knights, she's free to compose music, fence, read conversational literature, and save orphans from destitution by any means necessary. Aside from her closest confidants, no one knows about Zia's incredulous other life until Mr. Rafi Nasser, a rogue with secrets of his own, finds out. Shocked yet intrigued by his best friend's younger sister. That's so fun. I'm not even mad at that. He agrees to keep Zia's secret, if only to help her avoid utter scandal. So maybe a bit of fake dating in here that could turn into real dating. We will see. I just explained that I really have been in my romantasy bag, so I bought my first anthology. I'm pretty sure that's what this is called. It's a book of romantasy stories written by many different authors. The back says, enemies become lovers, rivalry turns to romance, and convenient marriages create true love in these 12 addictive romantasy tales. So, the Spicy Librarian bookmark and a couple of stickers that I got at the shop. I'm really excited to open this. I feel like this could be so fun to read over the course of like a week, maybe reading one a day and really just stretching it out, because if there's 12 stories in here, they must be pretty short. Lastly, from the Spicy Librarian, I got First Comes Like, and I was simply intrigued by this because the FMC is a beauty content creator and I'm a content creator, so I just like seeing what the job looks like to somebody else. I've just fully accepted that I really like reading romance novels. I don't know why I acted like I didn't, but I'm kind of in this space where I'm craving the romance in books. It's fun and it's so satisfying at the end of the day. Most of the time. Sometimes it's not. So in this book, our main character, Gia, is a beauty influencer, but one day, an international superstar slides into her DMs and she falls hard and fast. And, okay, it gets cuter because he likes her. This is all on the back of the book. She calls him out on it. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about, lady. But as they continue talking, he can't get Gia out of his head, especially once he starts to suspect who might have used his famous name to catfish her. So when the paparazzi inevitably talk about this and puts their relationship on blast, they then decide to start fake dating so Gia can impress her family and her friends. And I'm sure Dev Dixit, the international superstar, is getting something out of it as well. But the big question is, can an online romance turned offline fomance ever become love in real life? I feel like this is going to be so sweet. I also feel like this is the kind of thing that's going to turn into a Netflix movie. Sale section of Petals and Pages, I found 2 of the Lunar Chronicles. I have not read the Lunar Chronicles, but I have to say, anytime I ask for fantasy recs, this comes up, Specifically because I think people have told me Winter, I think, is a black girl main character in a fantasy novel, and they're inspired loosely by Disney princesses, Cinder, Winter, I think. I could be making a little bit of that up, but I feel like I'm not, because the imagery is obvious, right? Honestly, I don't know a ton about the series. I just know that it is always recommended to me, and I really liked these covers, and I liked that they were paperback. So I'm kind of hoping that I can collect the other ones as well and have the whole series to read. I don't need the other ones to start reading the series, I suppose, but I'm pretty sure this is books like 3 and 4 and not 1 and 2, or maybe it's 2 and 3, something like that. But I don't have the first one, so I should probably start there. Bringing it back over to the East Coast, I saw Beyonce with my own eyes this summer, and I'm never gonna forget it. I went to Atlanta for Cowboy Carter. I was only in Atlanta for maybe 48 hours, but within those 48 hours, you can bet we went to a bookstore. Just left the Mercedes-Benz buying merch, and I'm bringing so much merch, which is a separate video, but we're on our way to Bookish Atlanta, a bookstore in Atlanta, of course, to go book shopping, because if there's one thing about me, I'm gonna find a bookstore.
She gonna buy a book.
I'm gonna buy a book, and I'm dragging Morgan along.
It's what you do, making me feel like I'm falling. And when you're moving, I can hear my calling.
Oh, because you're me.
No one else here that I see but you. It's what you're doing, it's making me
tells
feel
you what
like
you
I'm falling. Yeah, I'm falling in love. Falling in love.
You're getting a book? Yes. And like, and this one's a mermaid.
So I have to be.
It's what you're doing, it's making me feel like I'm falling. And when you're moving, I can hear my calling. There's no one else here that I see but you. It's what you're doing, it's making me feel like I'm falling. Yeah, I'm falling in love. Yeah, I'm falling in love.
Ooh, yay. You have to get a bookmark.
Okay. So it's not usually happening. It's working on it. And then they had these cute little cropped jerseys for the camera.
So cute.
And then the back. Oh my god, I love that so much.
I know. I got the
And she
blue one.
version.
I got the blue one.
So we're like, we had to do some damage.
I know, we did. This is my haul from Bookish Atlanta, complete with a bookmark and a sticker. I did ask the owner to help me pick out a cowboy romance because Cowboy Carter, I thought it was a really cute tie-in, and she recommended Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. I know that these books are popular because I've seen the covers a lot, but I don't know anything about them other than it's a cowboy romance. And in addition, I got 2 more books. The first one, This Princess Kills Monsters by Rye Herman. This paperback is beautiful. Someone wants to murder Princess Melizza. This is sadly normal. Melizza is sick. Her name is so cute.
It's making me laugh. Melizza is sick of being ordered to go on dangerous quests by her domineering stepmother, especially since she always winds up needing to be rescued by her more magically talented stepsisters. And now she's been commanded to marry a king she's never met. Kind of a Cinderella spin there. When hideous spider wolves attack on the journey to meet her husband-to-be, she is once again rescued, but this time by 12 eerily similar-looking masked huntsmen. Snow White, maybe? A Snow White reference? Soon she has to contend with near constant attempts on her life, a talking lion that sets bewildering gender tests, and a king who can't recognize his true love when she puts on a pair of trousers. And all the while, she has to fight her growing attraction to not only one of the huntsmen, but also her fiancé's extremely attractive sister. If Melizza can't unravel the mysteries and rescue herself from peril, kingdoms will fall. Or worse, she could end up married to someone she doesn't love. This is so many things I love wrapped into one. The princess references in here is making me really excited to read this book. Also, Melizza, I'm already a big fan of Melizza. She is fed up. She is fed up with the circumstances, and she's gonna do something about it. And I can't wait to read this one. The last book that I got from Bookish Atlanta is Messy Perfect by Tanya Baudigiu. And I found this in the YA section. Cassie Pereira is a star student in her junior year at St. Luke's, but the new school year brings an unwelcome surprise. The return to St. Luke's of Cassie's former friend, Ben, who left a few years ago after a homophobic bullying incident Cassie knows she didn't do enough to prevent. Still harboring guilt from her inaction, Cassie decides in her usual overzealous way to team up with the neighboring public school to found an underground gender and sexuality alliance as a complicated strategy for making things up to Ben. Secretly, Cassie is also tempted by the possibility of opening up about her own sexuality for the first time. As Cassie's new friends urge her out of her comfort zone, she unlocks a kind joy and freedom she's never felt before, even as she struggles to balance these experiences with her typical tightrope of being the perfect daughter, student, and Catholic. Cassie's perfectly curated life unravels into turmoil, but can she embrace the mess enough to piece together something new? This is gonna be so heartwarming, and I know it. I don't know, I get excited for things that are gonna make me feel, and I might need to grab a box of tissues before reading this. And finally, we have made it back to my state of Florida. And I'm happy to report that there's a new bookstore open in Jacksonville, Florida. It's called The Next Chapter Bookshop. copy of Children of Anguish and Anarchy, which is the third book in the Children of Blood and Bone series, which I did finally start. I'm so late to the party over there. But I did start the first book, and I have physical copies with the sprayed edges of books 1 and 2, and this one has sprayed edges, so I had to get 3 and complete my set. And I've got 2 more reads. One is definitely more summer. The other leans a little bit more fall, in my opinion. The summer one, having summer in the title, Summer in the City by Alex Astor. She is the author of Lightlark, the Lightlark series, which I read 2 out of 3 books of. I can't even begin to talk about those books, though. Let's just leave it at I was intrigued enough to see that she was writing in a different genre, and I wanted to see what her book was like. Although I did forget about this book because I've been waiting to film this haul, and now summer is almost over. So maybe I'll save this for next summer or when it just gets a little too hot outside here in Florida. I think this is a second chance romance. I'll be honest, the plot in this book matters the least amount to me because this book takes place so heavily in New York City. This is my sale sticky note. I got it on sale because it was a little bit bumped in the corner. But there's a map of Manhattan in the opening cover, and I just feel like this is going to be so full of New York City references, and I love New York City and reading about it. So that's honestly what I'm here for. I'm sure it's a very cute and sweet romance because it looks adorable. I'm just being real with you. This, to me, is going to be much more of an atmospheric read. At least I hope. The book that felt more fall to me was The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England by Brandon Sanderson. I've never read a Brandon Sanderson book. But I know, I feel like he's really popular. I just have never picked one up until now because this one seemed the most interesting to me. Let me read you the back. A man awakens in a clearing that appears to be medieval England with no memory of who he is, where he came from, or why he is there. Chased by a group from his own time, his sole hope for survival lies in regaining his missing memories, making allies among the locals, and perhaps even trusting in their superstitious boasts. His only help from the real world should have been a guidebook entitled The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England, except his copy exploded during transit. The few fragments he managed to save provide clues to his situation, but can he figure them out in time to survive? They got me on the mystery element. Right around fall time, mysteries are fun. I don't read scary mysteries, but this is a mystery I can handle. Like a bit of confusion. Less whodunit and more like where am I? And wizards. It's perfect for Halloween time. One last bookstore this summer so far. I got the opportunity to travel down to Miami with Amazon Kindle to launch the new Kindle Color Saw. It was so fun. But while I was down there, I had actually 1 spare hour. And I used it to go to Postman Books. I've never been to a Postman Books. I know that there's a few different chains, like storefronts around, and there happened to be one in my area of Miami. So I popped in and I ended up buying Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I am really excited about this one for the fall season because it gives me the kind of spooky vibes that I like. I don't like spooky, scary vibes. I like spooky, like, vibes. That was a terrible description. But let me just read you the back and you can maybe see what I mean. For as long as Signa Faro has been alive, the people in her life have fallen like stars. That's ominous. Orphaned as a baby, 19-year-old Signa has been raised by a string of guardians, each more interested in her wealth than her well-being, and each has met an untimely end. Her remaining relatives are the elusive Hawthorns, an eccentric family living at Thorn Grove, an estate both glittering and gloomy. Its patriarch mourns his late wife through wild parties while his son grapples for control of the family's waning reputation and his daughter suffers from a mysterious illness. But when their mother's restless spirit appears, claiming she was poisoned, Signa realizes that the family she depends on could be in grave danger and enlists the help of a surly stable boy to hunt down the killer. However, Signa's best chance of uncovering the murderer is an alliance with Death himself, a fascinating, dangerous shadow who has never been far from her side. Though he's made her life a living hell, Death shows Signa that their growing connection may be more powerful and more irresistible than she ever dared imagine. Belladonna brings to life a highly romantic, gothic-infused world of wealth, desire, and betrayal. And I'm excited to dive in. The cover is also so beautiful. That was the last book. I can't believe it. I can't believe how many bookstores I visited this summer and had the chance to see and be in and experience. And I hope that it is just so many more in the future. So if you want to visit them with me, don't forget to subscribe. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you're reading. Let me know what you want to read for fall. And like in what kind of situation you want to read it in. Like, what's the book and are you reading it on a rainy day? Are you reading it the day before Halloween? Do you have a cozy blanket? Do you have yummy fall snacks? I want to know. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.